Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut with Bobby Atkins, and we are the Veterans Edition of Real Estate Jerky. How you doing, Bobby?
I'm doing great, Ed. How you doing?
Doing all right. See, today is Tuesday. Yesterday we had a lot of volatility in the bond market. Rates got a little bit better, then they got a little bit worse. And it's like that. You weren't around then, but back in the '90s, you get these phone calls. Hey, Blue Horseshoe loves Anaconda Steel. Like that's from a movie, Wall Street. And they want you to buy the stock. And when they're telling you to buy the stock, it's because they're trying to get out of the stock.
Gotcha.
And that's what's happening right now. By the time you hear that rates have improved, they're already going the other way.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was surprised they even got the words right and all that at that point. I tried to do that before. I could never say that. So I'm telling you, must be doing something right. Clearing out the arteries and everything else, clearing out the brain. I'm not doing it. Just, everything's getting more worked. So
good.
Anyway, and then, rates, and that was because we had ISM manufacturing, which what's that? It just looks at the health of the service industry, and it came in at 5.1.4 yesterday in the month of July, which was above the 51. Before that, we were at 48.8. It could be a blip. It could be that. We don't know. But long term, rates are going to go down. We are showing that we're in a recession, but people don't really know. We need a few more reports. Well, that won't happen until next week. We got CPI, PPI coming out next week. That'll show us where we're really at.
I think last week we discussed this, right? Like, we see that the economy isn't in as bad a shape as we were expecting, right? But at the same time, everyone I talk to has a side hustle. They have at least 2 jobs. So I think that's kind of what's propping up the numbers, right? Is people are like, okay, well, I'm not getting as many hours here. I got laid off this job. I'm going to go get 2 jobs. And people are just working harder, and inflation's killing us, man.
Mm-hmm. It really is, because we're up so much. And even though it's slowing down, it's not going down. The prices aren't going down. We have to have deflationary to have prices go down. We're not going to see that. So these prices we have right now, that's where they're going to be at forever.
They just need to start putting the big bags of chips and throwing them all away, because the shrinkflation is so, like, I get so pissed when I went to the grocery store. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? This is like a personal size, like you get at the gas station. Now they're calling it like the family size. It's like, no, I'm not stupid, man.
A family of 2.
Yeah.
No longer a family of 6.
Yeah. Family of 2 that barely eats anything.
Family of 2 with a dog.
Yeah. Dink what?
Yeah. So, that's where we're at with that. And all I got to say is, if you're a veteran, get into a house. And if you're working with somebody and they're not telling you how to do it within 24 hours, you need to go somewhere else. Because we had a client who finally called. You told them forever to call me, and they finally called me, and they needed to work on their credit a little bit. And it's not a major issue. There's so many things we can do these days to get the score up within 2 weeks, a week, depending on the time of the month. If we're in the beginning of the month, by the end of the month, it should be up, depending on a few things that we can have done. But within, 30, 45 days. And I just wish they would have called me earlier. They could have been in contract and getting ready to close. And it's easy. This person had, everybody tells us we can do a 580 FICO score. Yes, we can. But then DTI comes into play. That's debt to income ratio. If you're 640 and above, it doesn't. It's about residual income. You want the residual income, not the DTI. Yeah, you understand what I'm getting at? Because in VA, we push those numbers all the time.
No, I know. That's one exception, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's all about, how many kids you have, how many's in the family, and what's left over. And it's important. And so, it's the difference between a 580 and a 640 is probably at least a point in interest rate.
Now, has any of that calculus changed at all with inflation over the last couple of years?
What calculus?
But as far as like residual income, like if they're trying to estimate how much more would you need?
Just a little bit more. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, they also, we have to put in how big the house is, like how many square feet, so it can factor in what you need, not utilities, but basically any maintenance stuff. And then it factors in how many kids you have, and it automatically does that. So it's yeah. So I think in our area it's like $900 left over, which is like what? After I calculates a few things. Yeah. Because I had one at 73, and I have another guy pushed to 83, and I stopped. I just told him you could go even higher, but I just stopped at this number because there was no way he wanted me to go that high on a $700,000 house. So. But again, we can play with the numbers, massage them, because a lot of times people get disability income, right? That's their income. Well, we can gross that up 25% because it's not taxable.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, and a lot of people don't understand that. So if somebody has disability income, that's like the person we were talking about. She'll make way more money once she gets out of the service.
I know, which is like, why do they set it up that way? Because obviously you're gonna be like, well, I guess I'm out.
Well, when they get out, no, because she's got another job, right? She's already have another job, but when she gets out, she's going to get and she's going to go to school on top of it. So she's going to get the money to go to school and live with money to go to school, which I had no idea they did that a long time ago. So, but
on top of the BAH.
Yeah. Well, when she's out, she's going to get her disability. And then when she goes to school, she gets her money for school plus to live for housing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's like $2,100. Where like in Southern California, if you're in the service, she's like $4,100, but still not enough to freaking rent anything.
I was gonna say yeah. Depending on where you're at, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's all based off of where you're at. So I had a guy, one of the clients we had from North Carolina, they were 20. We refactored it here when they moved here, and it was actually more here than it was back there, of course, because their house there, I think that was only a $200,000 house. It's a lot more expensive here, but Southern California is like twice as expensive.
It's wild, man, because I remember back when I was that was early 2000s, right? But I think my rent was like $750.
Where?
In Virginia Beach.
Yeah, well, that was back that way. I remember when I moved up here in 2002, my rent down there was $3,000 a month.
Oh, even back then. Huh?
Oh, phew, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I was thinking is that one client we were talking about was in North Carolina, which wasn't too far from,
He lived an hour away from where he worked.
Gotcha.
For that house.
For that, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It was an hour. It wasn't like right there. That's like my son. He lives in Yelm, outskirts of Yelm, and his base is, it's 30 minutes away.
That's in Alaska, right?
No, that's in Washington State.
Oh, that's right. Okay, he moved from Alaska.
Yeah. They didn't buy in Alaska because he didn't want to stay there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's unique to buy in Alaska.
How long have you been in now?
5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's going to be an E6.
Oh, wow. That's great. What?
No, that's how Army is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. In the Navy, they don't get out. We have people who join the Navy who just don't get out.
Well,
and they take forever. There's just Army. I apologize. Army is just a huge force. It's huge.
So make rank quicker.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Because there was times like when I didn't make E4 until my third year in.
Yeah, I didn't make it till my fourth.
Right, but I went in as an E3 because I had recruited my brother who's a nuke, and so I went in boot camp as E3, right? But my rating was so full, and they didn't need any more PH3s. So even though I would pass the test, they're like, "Well, sorry, you still didn't make rank because this is full." So
and everybody's like, "You guys got to take tests." Yeah, they don't. Other ones don't take tests.
Oh, no good.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do something else, but it's not like us. Like Corman, I mean, they're like, yeah, you'll probably never make E6. Yeah. Well, I mean, I had already had my bachelor's by then. I was working on my master's, and there's no way I was going to be an officer because then I would have had to be on a ship. I can't go on, hey, what job is not on a ship as an officer? There isn't one.
No kidding, huh?
Well, yeah, there is. Doctor, maybe.
Yeah,
but I'm not a medical doctor. So
yeah, I was gonna say we had docs on here. So
docs is Corman docs or
no, actual physicians, right?
Right, probably, yeah, but not depending on what. Well, were you aircraft carrier?
Yeah,
that's why. Those are unique. Those are big ass. Excuse my language. Those are big places. That's like a mile long, right? Almost.
Like I say, so it's 2 football fields. Okay. There's the flight deck. But I mean, then you're talking about like, I don't want to ask this on ignorant, but did you ever go on a ship?
I stopped on a ship once. I stepped on one. I saw a friend of mine,
Gotcha.
but it was a small ship.
Okay. I was gonna say, so half of what you see, the other half is underwater.
It's like an iceberg.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you could easily get just completely lost and turned around if you weren't reading the frame numbers, the frame and the deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because until you pop out of a door somewhere that leads to the outside, it all looks exactly the same.
No, I only been on it. That's why I tell people I have no idea what you do first anymore. Because I just saw my girlfriend who was in communication. I went to her ship, saw her, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say I was probably my communication. He probably went to the top side, right? It probably didn't go down.
No, it was the inside. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
yeah?
female, so yeah, they're not good. Yeah, don't know.
Yeah.
But that was so long ago.
Yeah, dude, I feel like it too, man. I got out in 05, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was a lot longer than that. All right, anything else you want to talk about before we go today?
No.
All right.
No, I think we're good, man.
All right, so just remember, work on your credit, but don't do it alone. Give us a call. Give me a call, 209-404-1915, or give Bobby a call at 209-550-1087, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.